to as a community, always walk in with the cup facing there, fill it, learn it. You don't understand something, stay quiet. This is an American thing. I've spoken in so many countries outside, nobody outside ever comes and stops. And then in my first khutbah, I finished, I came out, one brother comes to me, and he said, can I speak to you? Yes. He said, you know, in your khutbah, you started off the khutbah with saying there are 15 T's. Did anyone hear my 6 T's khutbah? 6 T's. So he said, brother, you should only give a khutbah of things that you can complete, not of things that you cannot complete. And I was like, Jazakallah khair, but I said 6 T's and I completed all 6 of them. He said, oh really? I said, yes. I said, that was the purpose. My whole khutbah was 6 T's. If after the end of the whole khutbah, after half an hour, you come back and tell me, where are the other 15, I cannot help you. The whole time I was saying 6 T's, 6 T's, 6 T's, 6 T's. And at the end, if you come and say, well, I thought there were 15 of them. I can't help with there. That shows the mindset of people that are coming inside. They come with the concept of tanqeed. Tanqeed means to criticize. But come with the mind of inferiority. But at the same time, I have also heard amazing advices from people. There's a difference. And you can tell the difference between a person's advice and a person's criticism. You can tell it in their demeanor. In all honesty, I think the brother who came from the 15 T said it in a very, very nice manner, in a loving manner, respectful manner, amazing manner. I'm not saying that. But I'm just drawing a point, the idea that at times our objections are really not objections. When you think back to it, it's not there. One youngster came to me after one of the tafsir, and he said, Mufti Wasim, he said, when you're doing tafsir, he said, you go up on tangents and points. And and I said, what do I do when I'm giving a lecture and that thought is coming into my mind? Do I eliminate it and say, no, another time, another time, another time? I take that as ghanima and I say, let's present that forward. Inshallah, it will benefit somebody. I hope so. Otherwise, we'll be taking an exit and not going back on the highway. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ayah number 277. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Indeed, those people who have iman and do good deeds, praise Allah and give zakat, their ajr is by Allah. لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The one who has learned the value of salah cannot be sad in their life. You know, when most of you are mothers here. When you have your children, you're talking to your children, you can't be sad. Because you have something that others don't. Right or wrong? There's a certain love and muhabbat talking, no? I say no? I told Amman, I said, Mom, I'm not as happy to talk to you. There is a certain, I'm okay, I'm talking to my mahbub. When you realize that Allah is your mahbub, and you are Allah's mahbub, and that this is a conversation, then even a problem becomes a blessing. Because you know, when you go through difficulty, what do? You tell someone that you love, whether it's your mother, your husband, your sister, your friend. The first thing you do, and in saying that difficulty, your heart gets comfortable. It's okay. And the burden comes down. Ask all the time, we've given our children everything. What is the problem? Why is there no love at our home? There's no compassion in our home. Our homes are filled with riba and interest. Where's barakah going to come? This is a manner, but this is not the best manner. There is still a scent of riba in there. When my mother asked me, what about when people donate? I said, it's permissible, but there's still no barakah in it. There's still a lack of barakah in it. Today, they asked me, they said they're doing some program, they said, can we use turkey bacon? And I said, I'm not going to say it's haram, but you are eating it with the shawk and the zawq of eating pork. There was a time when a Muslim would see pork and they'd turn away. Now they go specifically want halal bacon. The love of it has entered the hearts. And the weakest iman is the one of the person who hates sin. That's the iman of the weakest person. Now we begin to love it. We drink juice, we put it in an alcohol glass, and then we toast it. We get those, it's the desire of it. The sin is so attractive to us. Anyway. From the sister side, they should make one side for cooling and one side for warm. And this side, what can happen is that in that way, you can split it up between someone who likes it cold and warm. Because some of the sisters are wrapped up and some of the sisters are, and every few minutes the fan is on, the fan is off, the fan is on, the fan is off. It's like praying rakat. First rakat of the fan and the second rakat of the fan and the third rakat of the fan. Yes. Student loan is like credit card loans. If you pay them off in their time, it's permissible. If you pay them off outside of their time, it's not permissible. I think after 6 months or something like that, right? They have a grace period. Yes. I know it's an exhaustive amount. I know you'll get a sheikh or a scholar who will tell you, no, it's permissible. But in order for me to say something is halal, I have to see Quran or Hadith. I'm very uncomfortable with the UIF and guidance model. Very uncomfortable with it. But the problem is there isn't another option. Now what do? Everyone doesn't have the same iman as you do. Everyone doesn't have the same high iman. If someone wants to buy out, what are you going to do? No, brothers. They don't have it in them. So you have to give them an option. We can't put the whole ummah into haram. So we have to, a mufti's job is to try to find a passage out for the ummah. That is our responsibility. Otherwise, what are we going to say? The whole ummah is in haram and the whole ummah is committing sin. So we have to try and exert to try to remove people out of sin. It's easy to say, you're all sinners and it's easy to say that. The tough thing is to find a halal avenue for them. And that's what our job is. However, with student loans, I find that a difficult thing to grapple with. Why? It's because it's a complete choice of yours. It's not a need. You don't need to become a doctor. You don't need to do that. You don't need to go all over there. And to be very honest with you, I'm sure you guys know this, you probably studied over here. Most of the kids that take loans, their student loans, they blow the money off. Most of the kids, a lot of your children, they blow the money off. I know a lot of youngsters, my student loan will be coming in, and then I'll be, what do you mean? It's not for that. No, it's okay. The whole point of it is so you don't take more of it. And it's become a greed factor and it's become a yeast factor. Yes. Yusra? You all heard the question, right? I'm very familiar with this point of view. Do you remember the very first thing I said in the hadith discussion? What hadith did I quote in the riba discussion? The 6 things. And then what did I say after that? What is the common thread between the 6 of them? Mekili Mawzuni. Imam Malik says, Iddikhar, that you can store it, and X and Y, Z, and all of them have it. The fact is that the Prophet ﷺ said in 6 things. What was the difference in them? You have gold. The Prophet ﷺ said a person who takes a loan and then on top of that loan charges extra for that loan, that is aynul riba. How are you going to ignore the fact that is riba? In the time of Hajjatul Wada, the Prophet ﷺ said today, in his last khutbah, today I remove all riba, and whatever riba was left on my family, meaning other people owed us, we've forgiven it. What riba was that? People were in debt to him, and he had charged them more because it took them such a long time to pay the debt off. So he said all that is forgiven. What does that hadith mean then? The reality is, with all due respect to everybody, everyone is on my head, and I respect them all. Unless a person has studied a minimum of 40, 50,000 ahadith, I think it is not appropriate for them to talk on fiqh. Because it is very possible you're going to say an opinion you have no idea there's already a hadith about it. And 50,000 is a small number according to me too. But khalas, that's the minimum that's running around these days, so why not? 50,000 is more than most of what people are doing. Most of the people that you see speaking around and all this stuff, maximum they have studied. Maximum studied is less than 500 ahadith. Difference between 500 and 50,000. It's 100 times difference. So now obviously, a person who has less knowledge is more prone to use their intellect. And the one who has studied more is able to go and access the different ahadith in their mind. And that is the unfortunate reality we're living in today. Even the ones who say Dar al-Harb, Dar al-Aman, that's a restriction of knowledge. Mistakes happen with lack of knowledge, with the person being limited. I'm not saying this individual is this or that, I'm just giving, this is a very popular view, I've heard this before. But I told you, I gave you the example of a cell phone. Why? It's because the cell phone isn't in that standard. The Prophet ﷺ specifically said, gold must be sold in the exact, given in the exact same amount. Well, fadlu riba is not, the more of it is riba. So what is the interpretation of that hadith? Will we say, I accept your view? Does that mean for the past 14 centuries everyone was an idiot? And everyone is making mistakes. Every thousand, tens and thousands of scholars all made mistakes. When somebody comes up with this new radicalized view all the time, when I say radicalized, I mean like very, very far away from the concept of Islam. Does that mean in the last 14 centuries everyone's intellect was deficient and your intellect went further than theirs? Someone came the other day and they said, brother, you know these 99 names of Allah that you see, there is no evidence of this thing. We said, okay, there is a hadith of it in Tirmidhi. Yes, there's only one hadith out of all the ahadith. So what if there's only one hadith? Does that make it not a hadith? If only one person comes and tells me that, look, Mufti Sahab, your lights are on. I say, oh no, so many people walked in, but you're the only one that told me that. I'll say, okay, I'm the only one that told you that, but at least I did tell you. Does that mean that it doesn't exist? That is the mentality people use. And we say, okay, so you're telling me in the last 14 centuries, nobody knew. So this was a mistake, and everybody's been memorizing and learning it, and you are, mashallah, badai, you know that you are, you know what you're talking about, and nobody knows what they're talking about. Be scared of these really new opinions, these new ideas where people act like they've just discovered something. This is Islam, it's not a continent that you have discovery of it or something. It's tradition. The more back you go, the more authentic it gets. The more forward you go, the less authentic it gets. This is Islam, because we have to get back to Rasulullah, and that's its purest. And we have to get back to that culture and that sense and that mentality. The further you get away, the further you disappear from it. And today, nowadays, everything. Moon study? No point. Just do calculations. Why did the Prophet not start off? Why did the Prophet not give us the sun? Why did he not just tell us to calculate Ramadan and Eid through the sun? Why not? Why did the Prophet never tell us to follow Makkah? He himself in Medina never followed Makkah. The Prophet sitting in Medina didn't follow Makkah, neither for Hajj, neither for Eid, neither for Ramadan, for anything. Show me one hadith. They can't. But then they'll come with this logic, no, but the moon is birth is this. Okay, brothers, all of that there. Did the Prophet of Allah follow Makkah? No, he didn't. Did Makkah follow Medina? No, they didn't. In the Islamic Hukuma, was there a time when there were two Eids in the Islamic world? Yes, there were many times. I had a discussion with a scholar a very senior scholar in the UK. And he says to me, he said, you know, you should do what everybody is doing, jama'ah. And I was like, what does that mean? He said, look, if the official government gives an announcement that Eid is tomorrow, and all of the imams in the masjids, they say we're going to do it today, who should the people follow? And I said they should follow the official announcement, because the hakim has the right, the legislative right. So he said, see, the same thing happens here. I'm like, there's a huge difference. Over here, the hakim is saying it, the king is saying it. Over here, he's trying to say that in your community, regardless of what view you follow the view what everybody is doing. In the sense that if they're all doing calculations, go follow it, it's okay. And I said to the imam, I said, can you give me one example in Islamic history where the king said that this is the day of Eid, and the scholars said no, the day of Eid is today. And the king said no, it's tomorrow. Can you give me one example? You know what his response was? Oh, I don't know. You based the whole argument on this, and you don't even know if there's an example of this that happened in 14th centuries? You base your whole argument off the concept that if the scholars and the imams, they go one way, the king goes one way, the people will follow the king. They will follow the original authority, and they will not follow the imams and those things. So the same way, it's not an imam or scholarly discussion, but it's about how to maintain unity. That's what he's trying to say. It's not a fiqh discussion. And I said, give me one example where that happened. No, I have no idea. I don't know. So how can you say something without any knowledge of it? And that's where we are living today, where people have no evidences, no proof, and they're just giving their views on things. And I'm a very strong proponent against it. I stand strong, and I will hold people accountable. If they say something that is not in the Quran or Hadith, I will hold them accountable. If they say something wrong, I will hold them accountable. This is our responsibility. See, someone said to Mawlana Tanvir Rahmatullah alayhi, he said, ulama ne kya samajh kar rakha hai apne aap ko? Deen ke thekedar hai. What have the scholars thought of themselves? That they own the deen. He said, thekedar nahi hai, deen ke nigeban hai. He said, we are not people who own the deen, but we are guards of the deen. We are here to guard it against someone who tries to put some other concepts and some other ideas inside. فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم. And if you ask Allah for forgiveness, then you have whatever your principal wealth was. لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون. This is the reason why riba is haram. Number one, bulum. There is bulum in there. The person comes to you, they need a loan, and you do what? You take advantage of them. This happens a lot in the Desi culture, especially. It must happen in other cultures as well, but I see this in the Desi culture. Someone comes and works for us, we keep them in the same position their entire life. If he's a server, he must be a server till the day he dies. He cannot upgrade. But then you ask the owner of the restaurant, oh, I used to be a busboy at this restaurant, then I slowly got money and I did this. Look at me now, I'm successful. But then if his own server does this thing, why is he doing that? لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون. Don't do bulm on other people. Help motivate and empower other people. We have too much bulm going on. وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وأن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. If one is in misery, ذو عسرة, difficulty, فنظرة إلى ميسرة, then you should give some time until he gets some wealth. وَأَن تَصَدَّقُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And for you to forgo it, forgo charity and give sadaqat is better for you only if you knew. وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. And fear Allah for the day that you will return back to Him. And ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. Every person will be given their full dues and no one will be oppressed. This is the longest ayah in the Quran. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه. O you who believe, when you have a loan or a debt, write it down. नहीं, भरोसा करता हूँ आप पर, I trust you. उधार ऐसा जादू है, अगर मैं आपको दूंगा तो आप गायब हो जाएंगे. A loan is magical. If I give it to you, you'll disappear. My father says, if you give debt to someone, you will neither get your money back or your friend back. Giving a loan to a friend, neither do you get your money or your friend. Luqman Hakim used to say, don't give debt. The debts are terrible. Because for the one who has taken it, it is shame for him during the day. And for the one who is giving it, he's going to worry at nighttime. However, if you're able to, it's better to, obviously, if you can help people out, that's great. But I give advice, give debt to someone with the expectation you're not going to get the money back. So this way at least, and I tell people, what is the value of the relationship? You can tell based on a person not paying their debt back. If my relationship was only $1 or $100 or $200 to you, if mine and your argument is on $500, that means our relationship is worth less to me than $500. People say relationships are priceless. I beg to differ. You can put a price tag on any relationship. Every relationship has a price tag to it. The reality is, how valuable is your money over the relationship? وَلْيَكْتُبْ بَيْنَكُمْ كَاتِبٌ بِالْعَدْلِ. Always write something down. If you are having a loan or something, dain ma'amala, and you're not writing something down, this is the longest ayah in the Quran. Allah talks about debt. The longest ayah. Because this is one of the biggest issues in the community. And write them down with justice. وَلَا يَأْبَ كَاتِبٌ أَن يَكْتُبَ كَمَا عَلَّمَهُ اللَّهُ فَلْيَكْتُبْ. Don't say, no, I'm not going to write, I don't want to get involved. No, Allah taught you to write, do it, write it. Many of them were not literate. فَلْيَكْتُبْ. And also this ayah teaches us, if you have a skill, help others with those who don't have that skill. You are a good cook, help others cook. You are someone who is talented in a certain field, help other people with your talent. Motivate and inspire people. What does Allah say? La ya'fa, don't say. But you know what do we do? Everything we sell. Today, when deen can be sold, then anything can be sold. Today, everything is being sold. I told you all how much we paid for our fees when we were students. And even then, 80% of the students couldn't afford it. In my class, only about 8 to 10 students out of 53 students paid fees. The rest couldn't afford $100 a month. And that $100 included food. We had students in the madrasa that they would come in and 7 years later they would go back. When we were studying, all this Facebook also was very, very new. WhatsApp, I was amongst the first people to use WhatsApp. First people to use WhatsApp. In its early days, I think back in 2008, 2009, 9, 10 or 9, especially 2009 and stuff, it wasn't very popular here, right? WhatsApp wasn't very popular at that time. There was BBM was very popular. BlackBerry's Messenger, and we used to have all of that. There was no concept of sending a picture message and sending pictures and all of that stuff. People didn't have phones, and these are American phones. A lot of the kids from Mauritius and Mozambique and Malawi, they have like simple phones. There's no camera, nothing. So mothers would send their children as boys, and the children would return as men. And the mothers would not recognize the children at the airport. Right, this deen came with Qurbani, and today, later on the YouTube, sitting, the Imam said this wrong. We're critiquing lying down on our bed watching a YouTube video. MashaAllah, bi'idhnillah. Anyway. وَلْيُمْلِلِ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِ الْحَقُّ وَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ رَبَّهُ وَلَا يَبْخَسْ مِنْهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the one who owes something should get it written, but he must fear Allah, his Lord, and he should not omit anything from it. So the one who has to pay is the one whose responsibility it is. If he doesn't, then the one giving the loan. The person giving you the loan shouldn't run after you. This is what happens nowadays. We take the money, please, I really need it, Jazakallah khair, Allah is going to do so good for you. We give all the du'as. And the amount of du'as we give them, the du'as they give us when we give the money back. The whole time we are waiting, and then you have to Assalamu alaikum, kaise? Wa alaikum. And then the person who you've given the loan to, their attitude now changes, temper, this, that. Allahu Akbar. The style and the approach is very different nowadays. That's why abstain from these things as much as possible. If you have debts on you, pay them back. The Prophet ﷺ said, whenever a janazah would come, he would say, they're alone. If there was yes, pray janazah. I will not pray janazah on them. Ali radiallahu anhu, Ya Rasul, I'll pay it off. Please pray janazah. The Prophet of Allah left a janazah of a person who had debts on them. Pay your debts back. Pay. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. I don't keep debts with anybody. Don't ask. I don't remember the last time I asked anyone for money. I cannot remember it. The last time I asked somebody for a loan or a debt. It wasn't in our ada, neither in our family, neither my parents ever taught me this. It wasn't the ada. It wasn't about, sure, we could have invested in businesses and taken bank loan and all that, but the ada wasn't there for what? Little, yeah, alhamdulillah, we're happy with khair, Allah is giving, alhamdulillah, never do we sleep. On the contrary, we sleep with 2 full stomachs. We sleep with more full of a stomach. What more can we take into the stomach of ours? Alhamdulillah has given us enough. فإن كان الذي عليه الحق سفيها أو ضعيفا أو لا يستطيع أن يمل فليملل وليه بالعدل. If the person who is taking the loan has mental deficiency, meaning intellectual deficiency, or they're weak, or they don't know how to write, then let his representative write for him. وَاسْتَشْهِدُوا شَهِيدَيْنِ مِنْ رِجَالِكُمْ, and get two witnesses. Don't only write it, but have witnesses too. فَإِنْ لَمْ يَكُونَا رَجُلَيْنِ فَرَجُلٌ وَامْرَأَتَانِ مِمَّنْ تَرْضَوْنَ مِنَ الشُّهَدَاءِ. If you can't find two men, then one man and two women. مِمَّنْ تَرْضَوْنَ مِنَ الشُّهَدَاءِ, whoever you like from the witnesses. Why are two women's witness equal to one man? Allah tells you here. أَن تَضِلَّ إِحْدَاهُمَا فَتُذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى. If one forgets, the second can remind them. In those days, women were not used to coming in the majlis of men. So if I ask someone who has never publicly spoken, if you tell them to speak publicly, what happens? They forget things. They stumble, they find it difficult. So because the court was generally filled with the population of men, and if a woman has to testify and she feels worried or scared, what if this man says, what are people going to say, this or that, or there's some sort of anxiety, Allah says keep at least two, so at least one can help the other and remind the other. And if the other forgets, they can help them. And if the other gets a little affection and one guy says, I've divorced my wife, he divorces his wife, they take him to court. And then he begins crying and saying, how can I divorce my wife? I have 5 children, 7. And now maybe she says, oh, maybe I heard wrong. So the second one says, no, you didn't heard wrong. He is khabith. He did divorce. He did this. Don't fall into this. So أَن تُذَكِّرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا الْأُخْرَى. One helps the other. Moral support. However, since Sharia said it, we will always constitute it in this manner. Though we have cameras and all of these things, we don't follow the camera's witness. We follow again the way Sharia told us. Why? These things can be photoshopped and this can happen. That human witness. We rely on them and the character judgment of the people around them. This is the system till today we utilize. وَلَا يَأْبَى الشُّهَدَاءُ إِذَا مَا دُعُوا. And the witnesses, they should not ignore or say no when they are called. ولا تسأموا أن تكتبوه صغيرا أو كبيرا إلى أجله. ولا يأبى الشهداء إذا ما دعوا. The witnesses should not deny when they are called to bear witness. ولا تسأموا أن تكتبوه صغيرا أو كبيرا إلى أجله. And do not be like, oh, there's no point in writing down. When you write down, تسأموا, make sure you write down the due date too. And then, don't say, oh, it's a small debt, it's a big debt. No. Regardless of the debt, someone owes you money, write it down. Have that person write it down, have witnesses. I had a teacher when I was in South Africa, Maulana Usman Mewati. Very interesting man. He was from Mewat. It's a village in India. I haven't seen a man with more confidence than him. He would describe Mewat as if it was more beautiful than Paris. He has so much pride in his city. So much pride. And he was the scholar, the teacher of ours that was very good at debating. His debates were very, very good. He knew how to use his logic very well. Straight from the village. He used to wear lungi and pan in his mouth. Straight. My other teacher didn't eat pan. He was the only one. He religiously ate pan. And he would wear a lungi. And he was a proper villager. But he was one of the richest teachers out of all. If not, out of all the senior teachers, he was the richest. If you see him, you would give him sadaqah. But he travels Emirates business class 3 times a year. The amount he travels, nobody travels this much. The morning, what do you do? He said, oh, I have a lot of farms and this, and I send rice and this and that. And then but he was a very, very, very strong believer in his town. And even more in India. He was a very strong Indian believer. He once made a claim to us. He said, I can bring Pakistan back into India. Give me the army and within one day we said, yes, Maulana, you are the last missing link to bring the whole ummah together. But he was a very, very passionate individual. And he used to debate and think. I was close to him, and our relationship with our ustads, they all used to live on campus with us. It was like a little town of over 1,000 people. The teachers, students, we had ostriches, goats, lambs, chickens, horses. Students would have horses. You guys buy your first car at the age of 16. Those students over there they had their horses. They would ride their horses and stuff on the property. It was really beautiful. Sometimes the food in the madrasa, it wasn't of good quality. Obviously, many students from all over the world, very blunt. There was a famous joke they used to say, can you do wudu with the salam? Because the curry is so watery, is it permissible to do wudu with it? This was back in Darul Deoband in its early days. The students went through so much difficulty that they said we can see our reflection inside the curry. So they sent a mas'ala to the principal. And my teacher's teacher, Allama Yusuf bin Nuri, I heard about him, that the students complained a lot. That they said the food is very bad. So Allama Yusuf bin Nuri himself came onto the dasarkhan. And he had ru'b. The man had, I've never seen him. He passed away in like 76, 77. You see, the Prophet ﷺ had something called ru'b. Ru'b is awe. When you see someone, you're just like, there's just something about them. My father is a very, ru'b person. And you can just feel the aura, and you're just like, okay, this is... The Prophet ﷺ said, Utitu khamsin, I've been given 5 unique miracles. One thing is, masirat shahrin. 1 month distance away, people can feel my ru'b and my awe. So they said, how did the kuffar of Makkah fight the Prophet ﷺ, even though they had that awe on them? The thing is that after a long time, a person gets used to the awe and they're able to go past it. The Sahaba say, the first, إِذَا رَآهُ بَدِيهَةً هَابَهُ. If you saw the Prophet the first time, you would be in a sense of whoa. وَإِذَا خَالَتَهُ أَحَبَّهُ. But when you start getting to know him, you'd love the man to bits. So the Prophet ﷺ had a ru'b to him. The Sahaba, when they would sit like this. The hadith comes that birds would sit on the Prophet's heads, on the Sahaba's heads. They would be like stones in the majlis of the Prophet ﷺ. You wouldn't hear anything. Imagine that majlis. We twist and turn and this and that. And how did the Prophet sit? A man walks into the masjid. Everyone is sitting around. Hadith is Sahih Muslim. Ayyukum Muhammad. Hey, who's Muhammad here? What do you mean? You didn't call me Mufti Wasim, you called me Wasim. We all have that takabbur in our heart. If you really want to see an imam or scholar get angry, just don't call them Mufti or Maulana, just call them. And that's why the beautiful thing about parents and our elders is they put us in their place. They don't call us by these titles, and every year, I'm a human just like anyone else. There is this love of fame and love of respect. All these things are diseases of the heart. Every year I go back and sit by my teachers. Every single year. And when I go to my teachers, they do my islah. They make fun of me, they crack on me, they do this and that, and they hit my takabbur. And they hit my pride. And they humble me. And I sit in their lectures, and then I realize I know nothing. I sit at their feet and I come back. All of this opposite charateo. You guys come and they praise, mashallah, this, that. We know we're nothing. But sometimes, बहुत मशहूर होता जा रहा हूँ, मैं खुद से दूर होता जा रहा हूँ, सुना है कि अब कोई ठोकर लगेगी, बहुत मगरूर होता जा रहा हूँ. I deceive myself. So go back over there, get a danda from the ustad. Here's something, not a real little danda. I'm past that age. But get that scolding, hear that, and then get yourself, your takabbur, humbled. Walks in. Who's Muhammad? Can you imagine? If someone walks into this masjid, everybody knows who's the imam and the speaker. But in the masjid of the Prophet ﷺ, you couldn't tell who was the Prophet and who was the Sahaba. That's how down to earth, literally down to earth. The man sat with everybody down to earth, literally. And you couldn't tell the difference. So then one of the men said, هذا الرجل الأبيض المتكئ. You see the white man right there, leaning? That's the man himself. The diplomats, the ambassadors of Rome came to Medina. And they went inside the masjid of Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu. And they saw Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab leaning. And they said, where's your Amir al-Mu'mineen's palace? And he said, what palace? He said, this is it. We reign from the corners of the masjid. We reign from the corners of the masjid. They ruled over, they were a superpower from a corner of the masjid. And today, mashallah, we have our offices and asa, wasa, double pesa, we come with that hato, bacho, and that respect and honor, and asa. The dunya has come in all of our hearts. May Allah forgive us and may Allah remove the dunya from our hearts. That's the reality. That is their chota bara, we're all in the same fitna. Small, big, everyone is in the same fitna. The other day someone said some praise. And I said to the brother, brother, don't entice us with fitna. Don't entice us with fitna. Don't put us into that position where in trying to help you, we lose ourselves. And we lose our own iman and yaqeen. Because we are fooled and we think we are something. When people praise you, they're praising the curtain Allah has put over your sins. Please. Make me better than what are they imagining me. Maulana Yunus Patel rahmatullahi alayhi, the scholar who passed away in the haram that I told you all about, his dua used to be when anyone praised him, he said, Allah Ta'ala ke guman ke muafiq humko bana de. May Allah make me the way you think of me. Whenever anyone says anything, I just say, may Allah make me better than what you think of me. And a beautiful dua is, Allahumma ja'alni fi ayni saghira wa fi a'yuni an-nasi kabira. May Allah make me small in my eyes, big in other people's eyes. Make me small in my eyes. And in other people's eyes, may Allah give me izzat and honor. Because human beings still, izzat and honor they need. Yeah. No, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, there's two programs that inshallah I plan on, it hasn't been finalized yet, but I do plan on working on. Number one is that I will be very active with the Sunday school. I'm not sure if you all know this or not, but especially from 6th grade onwards, I will be very active with curriculum, building, structuring, coming in for certain classes to teach and certain subjects and topics. I will be very strongly involved with Sunday school. So I'm getting to that. Right now, the reality is that I'm able to connect stronger with the youth that are my age. Because I'm not very much older than most of them. I'm around their age. Nobody knows my age. I don't tell them. My mother knows my age, that's it. I don't tell anybody my age. You know my age? No, you don't know my age. You know my age? November 5th? No, I was already born by then. You were 2 days off, November 3rd. November 3rd. A funny story about my mother is my mother's, Pakistanis and Desis, when they made their passports, I don't know why they could not say the truth on their passports. For some reason, our people, when they talk to government, they have to lie. They can't speak to the truth. They can't speak the truth. So her passport says that she's born November 11th. But my grandmother, may Allah have mercy on her soul, said she was born in October. So there was a difference between my mother and my grandmother when she was born. My grandmother was October, and my mother believes she's born in November. And Allah knows that. We're going to find out in Qiyamah. We don't, that's what my grandma used to say. I gave birth or you gave birth? So anyway, there was a point I was trying to say about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and before that I was saying something. I don't remember. But anyway, so one of the two programs that I'm going to be doing is, one thing is that the youngsters that are being involved as teachers and volunteers in the masjid, and the different avenues, I want to teach them a specific book on adab, on etiquette and manners. When I was in Houston, every week I used to teach this one kitab on the etiquettes of studying and learning. And in there, this is general etiquette. And we saw in 1 year, we started off with maybe 5-10 people, and we ended up with about 50-60. And it used to be just at my home, and students used to come, and boys, it was much older of a crowd that used to come, my age crowd. They used to come, and then some of the youngsters from the neighborhood would come as well. And every day I would have my majlis, and they would sit and they would listen, and there was a huge difference in their adab, in their etiquette, in their manners, in their akhlaq. If we teach that tabaqa manners, then they can teach the younger ones and the older ones. But if we teach the younger ones, then how are we going to... That is the one. They look at their older siblings and that's how they act. If we target this group, then we fix both groups. That's the idea behind it, inshallah. So do dua that Allah blesses what we're trying to do and accept what we're trying to do. After 8 rakats tarawih, after I'm done giving my tafsir, all the youngsters that are sitting outside by Aghajis, all that, I go and I sit with them for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then in the conversation, I give them so much lectures. While the conversation. So yesterday I came and some of their feet were on the table. The adab, no, feet shouldn't be on the table. We eat over here. We eat. So immediately they took their feet off. Immediately. So these are small actions. We just insert them in. Very slightly and lightly into them. And now then they get their adab. When I was giving a lecture Friday night, one youngster had his feet stretched towards me. Now, it wasn't that it's towards them, it's adab. So there were two of them. One I knew, one I didn't know. The one I didn't know, I didn't say anything to. The one I knew, I said, put your feet in. He put his feet in, the second one saw him put his feet in. They say, beti ko sunate bahu maqsood hai. You yell at the daughter, but you're trying to get the point across to the daughter-in-law. You don't have the guts to yell at your daughter-in-law, so you tell the daughter, and you hope that the daughter-in-law is listening at the same time. Anyway, let's finish this ayah. It's almost time.
ذلكم أقسط عند الله وأقوم للشهادة وأدنى ألا ترتابوا إلا أن تكون تجارة حاضرة تديرونها بينكم فليس عليكم جناح ألا تكتبوا.
That is more just in the eyes of Allah and more supportive of evidence. And more likely that it will remove any doubt from your heart. The fact that you won't be like, do I owe this person 5,000? Do I owe them 2,000, 3,000? You won't have doubts in your heart. Write it down. Number 2, إِلَّا أَن تَكُونَ تِجَارَةً حَاضِرًا. If there is a transaction or a business that's happening right in front of you and there's witnesses and everything is there, then you don't have to write. However, if there's you're walking down the street, and people are selling things. It happens a lot back in the day. You see this in like Turkey and these countries, Pakistan. Right, samosa lele, take a samosa, take something. Now you buy that. But wait 1 second, I need 2 witnesses. And then we need to write this down. The samosa will get cold by then. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if it's just these small things, it's okay. Very, very chutpata. Don't be too extreme. Live like brothers, deal like strangers. But we deal like strangers, we deal like brothers, and we live like strangers. We're supposed to live like brothers and sisters, but deal like strangers. But we live like strangers. But when it comes to discount, that's the first thing we ask. I was with some youngsters last night, and we were talking about doing a camp and a program. And I said, this is this camp, that camp. They said, I'm sure you can ask for discount. I said, you guys say we're not desi, but you are desi. You guys, we're American, we're this. No, 100% is dripping from you. The first thing that came to your mind above anything is that we need a discount. You didn't even ask how much it is, but the discount is fundamentally involved. I said, you shouldn't call it discount, you should call it desi count. Should be a new name for it, yes. That's fine. That's okay. Some people, they say that, I'm loaning the money, and if the person pays me back, alhamdulillah. If not, I forgive them. That's fine. But you should write that down before you forget. Some intentions you should write yourself down, otherwise you'll forget them. Anyway.
وَأَشْهِدُوا إِذَا تَبَايَعْتُمْ, for witnesses when you have transactions. وَلَا يُضَارَّ كَاتِبٌ وَلَا شَهِيدٌ. Don't be harmful. Don't do something for free, sabilillah. It's okay if you're charging a little bit, using a little bit of their help, but don't abuse someone. Don't exploit them. وَإِن تَفْعَلُوا فَإِنَّهُ فُسُوقٌ بِكُمْ. If you exploit other people for their talents, someone is, mashallah, they're nice, they're a good person, and you always use them, and you don't help them out, and you're not there for them, what does Allah say? وَإِن تَفْعَلُوا فَإِنَّهُ فُسُوقٌ بِكُمْ. This is wrong, this is not a good action. Don't be a person who uses other people. We are people, unfortunately, we use them for our own gain. We're manipulative. Acha, aap kya karte? What do you do? Auto body shop. My car's engine, my oil change. We ask people their profession so that we have a backlog. Whenever we need something, we know who to go to. Okay, Fala person, the cardiologist. If I have a heart problem, go to this doctor. If I have this, I'll go to this person. No, don't look at that, but rather look to see how you can support them. If there is a Muslim business, give them more. When you go outside to Cheesecake Factory, then, I give 20% tip. But when you go down to Jimmy's, you ask for a discount on a $5 burger. I don't know how much the burger is. I don't eat it very often. How much is the jungli burger? You eat the jungli burger? How much is it? This brother eats it $9, but for you $7. He went like this, then he went like this. So I think this is everybody else's price and this is his price. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, and fear Allah. وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ, and Allah teaches you. وَاللَّهُ بِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ عَلِيمٌ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Jazakallah khair. Inshallah, we will meet tomorrow. There are two announcements. One is that this Friday night there is a girls' lock-in for the girls. Please do register your girls. And on Saturday night there's a boys' lock-in. So please do register your boys as well. If any of your boys want to spend time in i'tikaf, we have a special youth i'tikaf that I'll be running here inshallah for the youngsters. Her son, Sister Zarhuna's son, both of her kids, two of her kids stayed in i'tikaf. They stayed in i'tikaf last year in Frisco, and now this year they're already here. Your son also stayed in i'tikaf with me, right? Her son also stayed in i'tikaf with me as well, alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'tikaf is from the 25th, Saturday. We've opened up registration. What's your mic?